Hello everybody. I just wanted to make a quick video about two really neat items that came with my spinning wheel, and until recently I really didn't know what they were, so I thought I'd make a video for those who are like me and new to knitting or spinning or weaving or whatever, yarn works. So right here I've got a skein of Aslan Trends Del Cerro. It's an Aran weight 100% merino yarn, and I got it from elann.com, ELANN.com. Super yarn. It's 127 yards of Aran weight, which is super yardage for an Aran weight, and it's merino, so it's a great yarn. I just wanted to show you folks how to turn this into something you can use without getting it all tangled and making you angry. So anyway, here's your skein. I'm going to put my camera down and just show you the skein. It's twisted, so you just want to untwist it and get it into your loop here. So let me put my camera back up. And I've got this loop of yarn that's tied in places. So back here I've got what they call a reeling machine, or you'll hear it called a swift or umbrella swift, and they call it an umbrella swift for this reason. It opens and closes like an umbrella, so it's super handy. This is a KSM brand reeling machine, so if you're looking to purchase this one, just Google KSM and then reeling machine, and you should get, if you do the images, you should be able to find this exact one. It's a metal option, which I like because I've got kids and I don't want anything that's gonna break on me. So anyway, you put your skein on this reeling machine or the Swift, and bear with me, I've only got one hand right now. So you're just gonna loop it around the middle of this, and I'm just gonna put my camera down for a sec. Alright, so it's on there. And then you just want to make sure that it's not too tight or too loose. You don't want the skein coming off in the middle of your deal, because that would be a big mess. So skeins, again, this is something that somebody taught me. They're tied, and you want to make sure that you're not cutting yarn that's part of the skein or in the middle somewhere. This is obviously not part of the skein. This is just a secondary wire yarn that they looped around to keep the skein from twisting up on itself. So that safely can be removed. And then on the other side here, which I've used this yarn a lot, so I know here this is the beginning and the end of the skein tied together. And so I can cut that. If you are too afraid to, or if you can't find out if this is the beginning and the end, just undo that knot by hand. I'm going to cut it because I know that that is the beginning and the end, so it is no big deal for me. Then you just slip that off. Okay, and then the outside piece is going to be what you want to start with. There's that piece, and then this piece is wound from like underneath on this side, so don't mess with that. It just make your work a little harder. Okay, so now you've got your skein on your reeling machine or your Swift, and it's ready to rock and roll. The next thing I wanted to show you is what they call a wool winder. Very handy. It turns that into something you can use to knit or crochet with, or weave, or whatever, you know. It makes your yarn usable. And so it assembles, or it attaches to the table in the same manner as the other one. You just got a little wing nut here that you tighten to the surface, and it's very sturdy. It's not going nowhere. And the centerpiece you have to put on, it just twists on, no big deal. This is called the bobbin, and what you want to do now is you take your yarn from your Swift or your reeling machine, and you just thread it through, sorry, didn't show you that, thread it through this little eye on the ball winder, or the wool winder, again, whatever you want to call it, and you just slip it through the little grooves up there, and that's going to enable you to have a center pull ball or cake of yarn. In fact, I have one finished. Let's go over here and look. This is the finished result. And it sits flat, so that's handy. You're not going to have a ball of yarn running around the living room while you're working with it. Sorry, this one's so messy. I made my that piece a little too long. But anyway, that's the finished result. Let me just show you real quick how you get from this to that. So you spin this crank here on the wool winder in a clockwise direction, and it does the work for you. Well, see, now it looks like I may have grabbed the bottom piece of the skein anyhow, so it is making my work a little more difficult. It could be that my Swift is a little too tight as well, but once I start getting some more of this yarn off of here, looks like my skein's a little twisted on there. But see, it still works. Not have to be too critical with it. And it's slowly but surely turning my skein into this lovely, knot-free cake of yarn. And you just do that. Now, when you make the cakes, the end you're going to pull from really depends on what type of yarn your cake is. If you've got something that's really fine, like a lace weight yarn, or something that's going to hang up on itself, like something that's got metallic in it, and it kind of sticks to itself, you're really not going to want to do the center pull option. You're going to want to pull from the outside. But if you've got something smooth like this, or a worsted weight, nothing fancy, you can go ahead and pull from the center, which makes it nice, because it is a bit easier to pull from the center. But there's some tips for you. So you can see how easy this is. Much easier than wrapping that skein around the back of the chair. These items are kind of pricey. I was very fortunate to have these thrown in with my spinning wheel that I got at a super deal as well. I know the wool winder is around 35 bucks, plus or minus a few dollars. And the umbrella Swift or the reeling machine, it's hard to say. I want to say it's around $60. But if you work with a lot of skeins and you're, winding these by hand, it's definitely worth the investment. And they close up and slip into a drawer. They're very tiny little things, especially that Swift. It does collapse into this itty-bitty little thing that you can pretty much put in your purse. At any rate, so we're almost finished. You can see how quickly this is. This is 127 yards that I've been winding, and it just takes some time at all. And towards the end, it's going to loosen up a bit on you just because there's no tension anymore from the skein. See, and it's starting to slip off that Swift because there's nothing holding it on anymore. There we go. We are all finished. And the end, like I said, is going to be a little loose, so if you're not going to pull from the center, I would recommend just looping that in a couple of those areas so it doesn't come loose and you don't get confused later on with it. So that's your cake. It's all finished, and it's as simple as flipping it off the bobbin. You just grab the cake like a big donut, and you're done. And you just find that little loop. It shouldn't be hard because it's right there in the middle, and you start pulling from there, and that's your yarn. Fabulous items. So for those of you who have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. But I hope this video was helpful to some, and have a nice day.